My name is Amber Geis, and as long as I can remember, I've been passionate about people. I was in a very dark season in which I lost myself. And I'm here to say, despite what others may say or do or our circumstances, we have the power to overcome and find ourselves again. We all have a story. Let's unveil the mask.
Hi everybody, this is Amber Geis with Unveiling the Mask, and we are so excited that you guys are with us. And if you're watching and you've been watching, last week's episode with Aaron was just amazing and awesome. And first off, I just want to say thank you so much for everybody that's just been contacting us and wanting to share their stories and being so vulnerable. A lot of times it's really hard to just remove our mask and be vulnerable. And so I just want to say thank you so much. And just really quick before we start with our guest today, I do want to say if there's any guys out there, men out there, we would love to hear your stories as well. I'm all about women power and empowering women, love that. But I also want to hear from some guys too. I really, this is an everybody project. So today I'm really excited for who's with me today. This person that's with me was actually a childhood friend of mine. Our families were together a lot in our childhood. I have not seen, so first of all, this is Melinda. You want to say hi?
Hi, hello.
Melinda Kate. And it's probably, I was thinking, when was the last time I saw you? I think in person, it might be 20 years. She sang at my wedding, and that was like 21 years ago, and I'm divorced now. So a lot has changed in my life, and I'm sure your life too. But thankfully we have Facebook so we can keep connected and see what's going on in each other's life. But I really appreciate you driving 2.5 hours to come sit and chat with me. So I just want to give it to Melinda and welcome.
Thank you so much, Amber, and thank you for just this great opportunity and for what you're doing, because I really believe that the healing and the growth is in the sharing. Mm-hmm. People fall out of, they don't fall out of love, they fall out of sharing. Mm-hmm. And so for you to, open up, that's been a main thing for my life and my story. Mm-hmm. So thank you for this great opportunity. It's great to be here. So I guess I would love to just start by saying that it is a journey, and I've been through a lot of ups and downs and mountaintops and valleys, and and then later I thought that was like a mountaintop and then it was gonna be a valley, and I'm like, oh gosh,
well, I thought that was the worst, but it wasn't.
So it's been a beautiful, terrible journey, and I am a single mom of 3 amazing sons, and I love my life. I get to coach people in health. And that's really where my journey started to turn for the better. I am divorced and never intended to ever be divorced and be a single mom, ever. I mean, as a child, all I wanted to be was a mom, a wife, and a pastor's wife. Like, that's all I ever wanted to be.
Totally, me too. Totally.
They're asking you, like, in class, you want to be a ballerina, you want to be a teacher, you want to be, I'm like, no, I just want to be a mom and a wife and a pastor's wife. And I'm like, okay, so that's where my dreams were going and building. And so I was in such a hurry to get there. And so it was like, okay, whatever walks through the door, even if I'm not, even if I have a broken heart from something else, or I'm not healthy enough or ready enough, I just wanted it. I was way ahead of, too far ahead of myself, and got married. And
how old were you when you got married?
Gosh, that's a funny question. I think I was 24 or something like that, in my mid-20s.
Yeah.
And I'm horrible at math, so mid-20s. Yeah. But I ended up actually being pregnant before I got married. And nobody knew. It was like hush, hush. But it was like, I grew up in the church, so it was like, you just got to do the right thing. And you just got to like fix it. Mm-hmm. It was all about fixing it. And so rushed to get married. Of course, that came out that, obviously you were pregnant because now you're way further along than you should be. Yeah. So whatever I was trying to make right or hide, it came out anyways. And that was difficult when you're trying to celebrate something so wonderful, but it has like this, stain on it or something you feel judged about. And so that was a really, really very rough beginning to our marriage. And immediately, I just started to be faced with the things that I was ignoring before I got married. And I didn't know what to do with any of it except keep it a secret and hide it and not bring other people into helping me or the healings and the sharing. I shared with no one what I was struggling with, and just more and more my self-esteem just began to just plummet. My worth, how I saw myself, it was just all isolation, and talked to very few people about things, and it was still very guarded, like this wall, brick after brick after brick after brick after brick. And I could put that happy face on, serve people in church and ministry, be there for them, listen to them, encourage them, but I let nobody in. And so I had these children, and eventually that took a toll on my body. Like I gained 100 pounds. Even with children, I was as active as I was or health conscious, I could not shed the weight. And it was really like a signal of like something's really going on with you that you can't hide.
Yeah.
Like you're stuffing it all in this bag.
Absolutely.
But it's bulging in this bag.
Absolutely. And I think when we keep our secret and we keep so much in and we don't share it, it has to go somewhere. And it goes into our body, and it goes like we can be sick or we can gain weight, or in my case, I got cancer. I feel like it's part of it. It's just we stuff, and we put that face on for everybody, and like all is well, but inside we're so hurting.
Yeah. And I was so broken. I was broken before I got married, and then I didn't heal from that because I let nobody in and I didn't share. And then I got married, and then I became more broken. The brokenness just compounded like this compound effect of like that brokenness before this is now on that and on that and on that. And it was adding up. And when I hit this point where, I was very, religious or, trying to live by the law and the book and everything. And I thought to myself, how long can this go on?
Yeah.
Until something breaks. Like this is fake. This is not from within, And so something did break, and my marriage broke, and I did not know how to even go through that, except I was, angry at God for a season because I was like, I did everything right. I bought all those books and I said all the prayers, and there's an African proverb that says, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together. The trouble was, or with that quote, is like you want to make sure you're running with the right person. Like that you're going together. Don't just choose anybody. Sometimes you're on different paths.
Absolutely.
And as much as I was running and trying and everything, we were just on different paths. And so it broke. And I was like, okay, God, I've done it the church way, the God way. And then I'm like, okay, well, that didn't work. So what now? What now? And I was really starting from scratch and stepped away from, ministry and just started on a journey of personal development and health, and reading lots of books and going to lots of, conferences and, seminars and soaking things up that all my life I had really just soaked up God and church and pastors, and now it was like, what's missing for me? Like that's all great, right?
Yeah.
It served its purpose, and it's still with me, but it hasn't worked. So something else is missing about me. This is where I learned about me and started to get healthy. And as I was working through getting healthy, whether starting with financially getting healthy, getting on my feet to provide for my family and my sons and I, physically, the weight started to come off. And I was able to reach outside of myself and say, I want something I don't have, but you have it. So I'm going to be vulnerable and humble and say, can you help me?
Absolutely.
And receive that. And that was a huge turning point for my life.
That's awesome. And I've been really excited. Just so you know, I've been stalking you. And I remember one of your first little videos on Facebook, and you're like, I'm going on this journey. Well, and I've kind of just going through my own struggles. So sometimes when you're in your own struggles, you can barely look forward.
Yeah.
But I've just kept tabs and watched your journey, and I just want to say thank you, because you are helping a lot of people, and you've been really positive. So even inside, you may feel like you don't have it all together, but I always admire your trying to figure out more and growing and learning and talking to other people. I just really admire that for you.
Thank you.
And I think a lot of our stories really parallel a lot, especially with the church. I think that what are you different? Let me ask you this. What are you doing different now with your kids? Because probably how you and I were raised are very similar. And I did everything right too. Does that make sense? I followed all the rules.
Right.
That we were told.
Yeah.
As a parent now, as a single mom, you know, I didn't never dreamed or expected that this would be my life. I don't think any of us going through a divorce imagines walking down the aisle and thinking, oh, in 20 years, I'm going to be hating your guts, or not hating you, but I'm not going to be with you anymore. I mean, that's just nothing we don't even think. So how are you raising your kids now? Like, are you doing things differently than what you were?
Yeah, you know, I respect my folks, my parents so much, and they've done the very best that they can. And the piece that I'm so grateful in my life for is the personal development that I've gone after, because there's a specific piece that I just immediately thought of when you asked that is we grew up thinking right and wrong.
Yes.
And so we start doing that the way we were raised, our family of origin, when we're raising our own kids.
Yeah.
That's wrong, that's right, that's wrong. And something I learned in personal development is it's not always a moral issue of it's right or it's wrong. Yeah. Is that working? Is it working for you? Like, you say you want this for your child, or they want this, or you want this for your family or your life, but is what you're doing working? So I grew up feeling like I was wrong. Like, I need to do the right thing, but if I don't do the right thing, I'm wrong. And it brought on such shame.
Oh, I know.
It brought on such, like, I'm not good enough, I'll never be perfect. And when I raise my kids, I don't shame them by saying, that is wrong. You are wrong. Because they identify with, I'm wrong. Like, I'm wrong. And now it's like, is that really what you want to do? Because it's going to produce opposite from what you say you want. So you're not wrong for being a kid.
Yeah.
What you're doing is not wrong. It's just, it doesn't work for our family. It doesn't work to get good grades, or, you know, for you to have friendships that work, for you to respect yourself or have good health. Like, you're not wrong. It's just, is it working for you? Right? You know, the way you've been doing it, how's it working for you?
And I think a little bit more grace.
Absolutely.
Too. And I feel like, I know for my own self, like, every child is different and every child needs something different. And I think sometimes the way we were raised, of course, love our parents, but it was so black and white.
Yeah.
It felt like life was never gray. And I felt the same way. I literally remember one time sneaking into a rated R movie with Cara Corlett. And I remember the whole time thinking, the rapture is going to happen right now. And I am going to be like sitting here by myself because I'm in this R-rated movie and I'm only 14. And then the whole time I was just like hyperventilating and like, and then I remember, please forgive me. Like, all day, every day I would just be in this, just scared almost and trying to be perfect all the time. Yeah. And if I did anything wrong, I just felt so like, oh my goodness, please forgive me. Please, I'm not perfect. And especially as women, I think that's a really hard thing to hold on to as we grow up and then go into marriage, especially for us that think our whole life is we're going to get married and this is going to be our world. And I don't know, I look at things so differently, but I think that's the beautiful thing about life. We grow and we change and we evolve, and I think bottom line, no one's perfect. And we all have our individual journey.
We do, and that's how I look at the kids.
Yeah.
And I love that I'm at this place of, I feel like learning for the first time, and then my kids are learning, right? Yeah. They're at this stage of learning, and so especially since I've been brought out of my isolation, I now bring them into it. So what I learn, I share very vulnerably with them. And growing up, I didn't have that kind of close sharing, going on with my siblings or my parents. And so for my kids, any question they ask me, just dive so deep into like really getting to their level and even bringing them up a little bit to just, you know, we don't have to hide from each other. You know, you don't have to be perfect in what you say. I want to hear your heart. I want to hear what your struggles are and what's going on. You're not going to get in trouble for what you say to me. I've seen it all, heard it all, or done it all, you know? So just be, you know, be yourself and really teach that, have them grow in their worth and in their value, and that their feelings and their story are valid. They're valid, and I want to hear them.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
And that they're that individual.
Yeah. What could you give advice to people that are watching or friends who are going through divorce or like holding things in? Like, what would you tell someone? Your little nugget of advice to someone.
Can I give it right there?
Yes, that's it. Absolutely.
My nugget of just advice or invitation, you know, encouragement is, we talked about grace, is to really take a step back from all the things that are pressuring you, squeezing you, or pulling you, calling you. Take a step back from that and just be with yourself and know that that's not selfish. It's actually so important and so valid for where that next step is going to go, where your foot's going to go that next moment. Because learning to trust yourself is so important. Especially we love people, we care for them, but without that love and care for ourselves, where will we step? How steady will that step be? And to really, self-care is so important, and to learn about yourself and to take that time every day. And I know it might sound silly, but one of my things I would love to just encourage or invite you to do is get quiet with yourself and get in the mirror and get really close to the mirror and look in your eyes and just don't say anything. Just look deep into yourself and just be with yourself. Whatever comes up for you, that's you. And you're wonderful and you're amazing. And to really own that and keep learning. There is not enough time or books you could read or people you could sit down with and learn from, to just know that there's always something new to learn out there about you, about your dreams, about what your heart beats for, about your children, about what you want in life. And never be afraid to say, I don't know, but I'm going to go find someone who does, and I'm going to learn from them and watch their life and really glean from that.
That was awesome. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for this episode. Thank you for being here. And I just want to echo that. I really want to encourage you guys, if you are carrying a really heavy load, or if you just have this stress, I mean, I truly believe it was a weight gain for you. For me, it was my anxiety. I had heart medicine. I had cancer. Of course, we don't know all the reasons for those things, but I so believe that holding things in and stress can really, really hurt us.
Absolutely.
So I just want to encourage you guys this week, if there's something you're struggling with, start letting it go, or maybe talking about it, sharing about it, and take time for you. I think that is truly important. Like, go on a walk, look in the mirror. We, as moms, as women, we're always gives. We give to everybody else, and then we're just exhausted. So anyways, thank you for being here. You guys have a fabulous week, and I will see you back here next Sunday at 7 o'clock.